predictable. Because what's coming next, from Baggio to Romario to Michael Owen, and I usually, for me, it's like 50-50. It's not always the OP one. Sometimes it's like a little bit of a nostalgia. Like Militao, yeah, kind of reminds me of old PES, but I'm not bothered about getting him. I think he's the worst out of three in terms of eFootball. Del Piero is perfect for super sub. Yeah, with that low stamina. Or just give him fighting spirit, right? Alrighty, guys. The Italian strikers, this current one. Italian league attackers. We're going to make this simple. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Some people think that I'm a hype killer. I'm not, man. Sometimes people listen to me and spend. For me, it's 100% honesty. This is a hobby for me, not a business. Everything I say is my opinion, dude. That's all I can tell you. So sometimes it might come across as a hype killer for some people. I can't apologize about that. This is my opinion. Since when honesty is becoming hype killer kind of thing in a way. Do you know what I mean? So straight to the point as always. Starting with the best one out of the card is obviously Del Piero. However, hear me out. If you have the epic Del Piero, I know he's Classic 10. But when you use him as a striker, Classic 10 is not active. And I had him before. The epic Del Piero, the Classic 10 ones, most of you guys have him. He's like, without a doubt, one of the top 10 best strikers in the game when you use him as a CF. So if you have that Del Piero, you don't necessarily need this one, unless you're going for the nostalgia or you prefer whole player as an AMF. Maybe your main plan to use Del Piero as a whole player, you're trying to upgrade on a whole player and so on. So that's what it comes to the comparison as we do with many other players. His booster is obviously his shooting, finishing, ball control, finishing, that gets 3+. I think, personally, if I get him, I'm not going to kill him as a striker. If a player has whole player card, you don't want to use him as a CF. You're basically killing this card. So as a SS or AMF. And for that, his finishing at base level is pretty high. So I would give him more passing. I would give him more dribbling. If I get him, again, when we do these reviews, after I get these players, I'll probably post an update on YouTube community, Twitter, Discord, or make a second video about it if it's worth it. But when it comes to this particular card, stamina is a bit low, so you want to give him fighting spirit. Or maybe give him super sub. Other skills kind of like double touch. Instantly. He doesn't play on the flank, but if you play 4-3-3, Del Piero's going to be SS on the flank. You want to give him some passing skills. Through passing, pinpoint crossing. I think the meta of the game, he's got through passing. You can even give him pinpoint crossing. I know it's abnormal, but not everything is meta. Beyond that, I think at base level, he's got the speed. Probably needs a lot of points to make that speed even 88. So I wouldn't kill him with that. But definitely balance, ball control, finishing. He's going to be one of those players, going to be nimble turns, boom. And a lot of times what you see on papers could be very different in the pitch. So he's best out of the card. I can say that confidently without using him much here. Because if you understand the game, if you understand player ability combined with skills, you already know what players look like on paper. And I think this is my quick review about Del Piero at the moment. But for those of you guys who don't spend often, don't spend weekly or monthly, I think you would only want to go for these cards for the nostalgia. Because considering what cards are coming from Karl-Heinz to Michael Owen, to Roberto Baggio, Beckenbauer, Mateos, I think this Milito is kind of just for the PES nostalgia. Otherwise, you can only compare them. Both Milito and evair, I can only compare them with players who are similar. Like Van Basten is Fox in the box, Nistelrooy Fox in the box, the reasonably tall and Fox in the box. But I think both Van Nistelrooy and Van Basten, they both like balance a lot and physical contact much. I think acceleration as well, if I'm not mistaken. Technique. Basically, these type of strikers are final touch strikers, really. If you have two fast dribblers on the flank, he could work at the middle striker, not flank one. Even if you use him in a two-striker setup, a lot of time they drift out wide. If Militao ends up wide, you will have game where Militao turns on full speed like Messi. You will have games like that. But against good players, Militao ended up on the flank, you'll have no effect on the opposition. So I would say Militao is the third one in a way. Again, his technique is basically just finishing at base level of offensive awareness. Because of that high offensive awareness and finishing, that's why I kind of label these type of striker as last touch finishers in a way. His balance is going to be incredible. Because his balance is very low, you want to make him reasonably okay in the air. Like get that head into at least, I don't know, like minimum 80. If you give him 1 point, there's 78 with the boost or so on. I would personally, if I get him, wouldn't try to make him too fast because he's 183.79. I would try to make him better in the air. And he needs shitloads of skills, man. Really. Aerial superiority, first time shot, double touch if you prefer, and so on. When it comes to this guy, I don't remember this guy. He's a 90s player. A little bit taller. What he has better than Militao, it's the one thing that kind of stands out is the balance, really. But I think Militao at base level has got better finishing and offensive awareness. So if you have Van Basten or Van Nistelrooy, I don't think those two guys would be necessarily an upgrade in a way, in a sense. Beyond that, yeah, they both can be great in the air. Not incredible dribblers, but same thing as Militao, really. They're very, very similar. Kind of a last-minute, last-touch scorers in a way. But lacks way too many skills, too. He's got the one-touch pass, first-time shot. He's got those two essential for the strikers. Soul control is good for the big, clunky guys. Cut behind and turn. In the meta of the game, most people give through ball even to their striker because most of the time assist is made by your striker, especially if you use 3. So that is my quick review about it, really. If I get any of those, I use them for a couple of games. I will update you guys on YouTube community, Discord, Twitter, how I train them, the skills required. Beyond that, if you go any of them, if you use them in 10 games, comment down below on YouTube. You guys here, let me know what you think and what formation you use them, what tactic do you use them in.